Hi there crafters, Louise with you today. Welcome along to this scrapbook layout video. It is a 12 by 12 page and it is inspired by the fabulous Jess and her epic layout from last month's kit. She made the most fabulous background and I was totally inspired. I loved her page. So I want to say thank you to Jess and of course acknowledge that Jess was the original creator of the layout in which I am scraplifting today. But when I saw the pattern papers in this month's kit, I was thinking to myself, okay, how can I actually use these? What am I going to do with them? They are fairly lively patterned papers. Even the A and B sides are a little bit like out there and kind of in your face. And I thought, what am I going to do with these? So Jess's layout actually really inspired me to use lots of pattern papers, and that's why I've kept my embellishing quite simple. So the first thing I've done is I've cut a bunch of patterned paper strips, and they are inch wide strips. And then to mount them, I'm going to use this gold glitter background. So for a couple of different reasons. So the first one being that if I mount it on something initially, I've got a bit of area to work with without being overwhelmed by the whole page, so to speak. So I don't actually have to worry about wrecking my background. So this gives me like a base to work with. And then the second part of it is that I feel like the gold and the glitter might sort of not dull this, but break it up because it is going to be really patterned. And you can see when I go through and I work this out that it's a lot. Like when you look at it, there is a lot of color, there is a lot of pattern, there's a lot going on. So in true Louise scrapbooking style, I just eyeball everything. I don't get out my ruler and measure. I just cut, and if I don't like the way it cuts, then yeah, maybe I'll either recut it or I'll just make it work somehow. And that's how I'm going to wing my way through this particular layout. So as you can see, off camera, I've gone ahead and I've lined them all up. I've cut them out on the angle, pretty much exactly the same as what Jess has done, but I've gone ahead and changed the colors around a little bit. I didn't bother using any texture. I figured I sort of had enough going on here. I wanted to keep it as a pattern paper kind of background. Now again, I used tacky glue to attach all of the papers onto that glitter. I really find that using double-sided tape on glitter is absolutely pointless because for some reason it does not stick. So straight to my tacky glue I go. Now I am going to have a little bit of trouble with the sticking down of these elements. They tend to warp a little bit, so that does pose a little problem, but nothing that some flattening and some bending can't fix later on. All right, so it's at this point where I have chosen my photo, and I didn't go into this having a photo in mind. It was purely just that I saw the cut apart that said, ew, Catitude, and I was kind of like, oh, I have cat photos. I recently adopted myself a second little ginger cat. His name is Popeye, and he is just so different from my first ginger cat. It strikes me as odd how unique and individual cats really are. So I've got now these two ginger cats, and this is their view out the front door. They are inside cats, and so they don't actually get to go out and chase any birds, but they love to sit at the door and watch. So I thought this was kind of cute and kind of simple photo. I felt that if I chose a photo that was going to really overwhelm my background, but this being a very simple photo, not too much detail, nothing that really needed you to draw the eye, it was going to sit quite nicely. And then that little bonus Project Life type card sits well, is perfect also. Okay, so embellishing around that does prove to be a little bit tricky. I have a play with the tags, thinking I'll tuck those in. They are not doing it for me, so they don't actually end up on the page. But I do love the actual embellishing, and this is not something that I do very often, is actually embellish on my photo. So because I had a very busy background, I kept it quite minimal with the embellishing on my photo in the form of some hearts. And I'm now looking at this photo across the very busy background and thinking, holy crap, what am I going to do now? So to the rescue is white. If ever I'm being a little bit overwhelmed by a background, white gesso will do the trick. In this case, I'm going to pull out an old pizza box and I'm just going to pop a whole heap of the white spray over the top. And I don't really care how opaque it looks. I don't care how it dries. I don't care if it has splatters or dots or bits and pieces. I just needed to dull it down a little bit. And you can see the effect that has. All right, looking at it again, I'm still not quite being drawn completely to the photo in the center. So what else do I have at my disposal? I could stencil, I could paste. I don't want to add too much because I've already got a lot going on. And so I decide to pull out just some simple black twine. And you're going to have to bear with me because it's in a huge mess and I have to unknot it and then stick it down and get it in position. But essentially I'm just going to wrap a little bit of the twine around that sort of area to pull your eye towards the photo. I didn't need much. It was purely just the tiniest little bit of something, and black, because I'd already used white, I'd sort of exhausted that option. The black works. So a little bit of tape on the opposite side of my layout just to hold all of that into position. But essentially I wanted the background because it was the most fabulous background. Thank you, Jess, for your inspiration. I wanted the background to be the star, and so that's how I've kept things nice and simple with that super busy background. All right, that is my layout completed for you to share today. I hope that either it's inspired you to have a go at this background technique, or you may have learnt something that can help you in your own scrapbooking. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you check out Kitaholic Kits and of course hit that little subscribe button.